Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Sit Down with Ted here at Schreiner University. I'm Ted Davis. We're joined today by Michael Shaffer, who works for Peterson Health, and Jordan Derrick, our athletic trainer here at Schreiner University. And Peterson Health has partnered with Schreiner to create a sports medicine clinic here at Schreiner University. I want to get to that in a minute, but I want to, first of all, talk to Michael about something. I grew up in Lubbock, Texas.
Oh,
So I looked at your resume, and you spent time in Lubbock.
I did.
I think a total of 6 years or so. So where are you from, first of all?
Originally from Bowling Green, Ohio.
Okay. So I having grown up in Lubbock and lived there until I was out of high school, I always want to know, what did you think of Lubbock?
It was flat, it was windy, and it was dusty.
Yes. Yeah. We would have dust storms in the spring, and at night when it got calm, the dust would come down like snow. But did you enjoy your time at Texas Tech?
I did. I have great friends that actually still work there. I had the opportunity to help develop some programs while I was there. A great residency program, really enjoyed my time there. And then I came on as faculty and was teaching faculty with the med school.
And you were the team physician for a while,
team
right?
Physician, under Mike Leach as my head
Okay,
football
well,
coach.
okay,
So.
you got to tell me a little bit about Mike Leach. I always wanted to meet him, but he seemed like one of the best characters in the history of college football.
Mike was quirky.
Yeah.
He just an incredible football mind. One of those football minds that never played football, and you can't.
Yeah.
It's hard to find somebody that actually can think that way and not have played the sport.
Yeah.
So it was an enjoyment to watch him coach. A lot of passion behind what he wanted to do as a coach. There were times where I didn't think he knew who I was until we went to the Insight Bowl, and I was up early in the morning taking care of one of our players' wives, and I was walking down the hall at like 5:30 in the morning, and he walked by me sipping on a cup of coffee, and he just glanced his eyes up and said, "Hey, Doc," and just kept moving. And we're like, okay, he knows what I do, but. He was a great guy. After that, we had a lot of time to chat, and I got to know him after that Insight Bowl before I ended up leaving Lubbock onto my next assignment.
He seemed like one of those people that you won't forget once you meet him.
Absolutely not. He had a passion for football, but he had a passion for pirates. He had a passion for a lot of things, and he loved to sit down and chat about those passions. He was just a great guy. Very, very personable. Was not, again, during football season, he was glued into football season, but outside is when you could have a good chat with him.
Yeah.
So,
did you ever throw tortillas onto the field?
I did not.
Okay. Well, they weren't doing.
I was not a student there, other than a resident, so that was not part. And I was working with sports, so you don't do that as part of the staff.
They didn't do that when I grew up, because I would have loved to have thrown tortillas onto the field.
Yeah, that was something that came along after.
All right, so tell me a little bit about this partnership. I'll start with Jordan, and how did this come about? And it's a sports medicine clinic here at Schreiner. So what are the basics of this?
I wanted to reach out and get kind of just better access to healthcare for all our athletes. Was always kind of looking forward to kind of what's coming next in the future here for Schreiner. That's a little hint at something that we got coming. And we're looking at getting athletes better direct access to care here locally in town. Reached out. I thought it would be a fantastic opportunity to kind of build this into something as we grow and move forward.
And where will it begin? And take us through the process of how this is going to work.
Well, actually, I started working with Peterson about 9 months ago. And one of my goals coming in and talking with the administration was with my background as a sports medicine physician at the Division I level, I wanted to, bring what I have to offer to Schreiner. And the administrators were very interested in that, and actually had already started some early engagement and discussion. So with me coming in, and then this summer we'll have a sports fellowship trained orthopedic surgeon joining our staff. We thought this would be a great way to segue in support for Schreiner. We have a nurse practitioner that works in kind of a student health type clinic, and so this was just the next step in expanding the healthcare for Schreiner students, but really focused on Schreiner athletes.
How will this work with you as far as more immediate care, or how does that work?
How it kind of works is it'll still everything will still kind of go through us. The athletes will see us initially for kind of initial eval, and then if we deem kind of necessary that they need a little bit further expert care or potential imaging, things like that, then we'll refer them to Dr. Shaffer in the mornings. Typically right now it's Monday mornings. Get an eval, and then we've also got Chelsea Grimes, who's started with us too. She's our physical therapist that'll be started coming from Peterson. So if the athlete does need kind of more one-on-one care, kind of individual work and rehabilitation, then they'll be seeing her as well. So they'll kind of see Shaffer Monday mornings and then kind of see Chelsea throughout the week and then work through us as well.
Will you be working with the facilities you have now, or will this at some point create new facilities?
It'll also be in-house. It'll all
Yeah.
be here at Schreiner. We're working out of the athletic training room right now, and it's been good.
I was talking to Charlie McCormick this weekend. He's the president, and he sees some benefits in other ways. The Schreiner has a very strong nursing program, and there's a shortage of nurses. And so is this something that could link up with Schreiner's nursing program and Peterson's obvious need for talent?
I hope so. So I was a nurse before I was a doctor. I spent 13 years in nursing. And so I have a passion for educating nurses. I've done that through my career as a physician, as well as when I was a nurse. But I think working with the nursing program as well as the nurse practitioner program, Peterson can really advance their clinical exposure and experience, and then at the same time attract some of these nurses to come work for us. So I think it's a win-win situation across the board, not only for Schreiner's nursing program, but immediate exposure of nurses, and then hopefully down the road they'll want to stay and work for us.
How satisfying is it for both of you to have a player who's injured, take them through the process of rehab, and seeing them get back on the floor and do what they want to do?
It's why you get into it. It's the whole reason I wanted to be an athletic trainer. In high school, I pulled my hamstring 5 times. Kind of always trying to figure out why this was happening to me. It was a growth spurt that I had that just kind of set me back a little bit, but the repeated hamstring strains over and over and over, and it just kind of got me to okay, what's going on? Let me figure this out. Kind of dove into it, and then it's just helping athletes do the same thing, trying to help them. Instead of finding out on the 5th hamstring strain, let's figure it out on the first one and see if we can get you back and not miss some time and kind of keep you out there, keep you healthy.
The Green Bay Packers have a wide receiver named Christian Watson. He's really talented, but he keeps getting hamstring pulled. So what's the solution to that?
It would take a full eval on him to kind of figure out what's going on, if it's coming from up the chain or down the chain. But
For you, what was it?
For me, it was I grew 9 inches in about 6 months
Okay.
going into high school, and my body just didn't catch up. My bones were growing faster than my muscles were, and just stretching them a little too thin.
Yeah, is it the same for you, Michael? The rehab and seeing people get healthy again.
As a physician, we have different populations that we take care of, and usually athletes in general are very motivated and focused on staying healthy, and when they're injured, getting healthy. This allows us, I think this contact is going to allow us to stay focused with the athletes and, again, slow them down a little bit. They all want to be, doesn't matter how badly they're hurt, they want to be on the field. They want to be on the court. They want to be doing what they're here to do. And that's what we can do, is help slow them down but still keep them active doing things. I think a lot of times athletes get shut completely down or pulled, and they don't want that, so they don't report their injuries. I'm trying to reassure them, reassure the coaches, as well as Derrick's support or Jordan's support through all of this, that we're not here to just pull them and not let them do things. We're going to keep them active, keep their head in the game, so when it comes time to be back, they're ready to go, and they're ready to go fully, as opposed to injury play, and it just keeps getting worse. And then they're not active, and it's the end of the season, and we're getting ready for conference or regionals or something that now it's important to them.
I spent 37 years in the NBA, so I started doing NBA games in 1984. So the advances in medicine from 84 to now have been amazing. Is that going to continue? Like, the knee surgeries now are so much more efficient than they were in 1984. What's the future for that kind of thing?
They're going to continue to use a lot of different types of tissue. We're trying regenerative procedures such as injections with stem cells and what we call PRP or platelet-rich plasma.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we use now that were not available in years past, and I will expect that those will continue to improve. We're using cadaver ACL grafts where it used to be just our own tissue that we would use. So we're now using a cadaver-type graft, removing tissue from our body to repair our body. And if we can spare an extra area that we're operating on, that's always a positive aspect. I think we're just going to continue to improve over time, and we'll keep people healthy. I mean, really the focus on preventative injury medicine is the focus of things. If we can prevent an injury from even occurring, then we're ahead of the game right there. And that's kind of what our partnership, I think, we want to focus on, is having this availability so we catch things early. We're going to review protocols. We're going to look at things to help keep our athletes healthy and keep them from getting injured. Keeping them from having an injury is going to get us farther along the way.
Can you tell if a person is prone to having knee injuries? Because we had a player, Jabari Parker, who had two ACLs in like 5 years, and it turned out he had some sort of thing in his knee that made him, that he was prone to that. Is that a thing where you can see something?
There are some things, some identifiers that you can look at, whether it's kind of knee valgus or some different angles of how their body moves or their body mechanics are. There are some kind of precursors that would put you more at risk for certain injuries, and so.
And if that's the case, do you work it with strength to try to strengthen that area?
Exactly. Yeah, you try to combat that. You try to figure out, if they're having a little bit of knee valgus, then you're working on kind of hip strength or kind of gluteal strength with external rotators and kind of that stuff to help kind of realign or balance that out where the forces are being put on the knee.
Is the knee still the toughest injury to work with or recover from, or has it gotten to the point where it's not that way?
I don't know. If I had to say one, I think low back is probably the one that's kind of
really
the pain in my back. No pun intended there.
Yeah.
But that it just usually is a little bit more vague. It's more in the center of the body, so the pain isn't isolated. So like when you get down to the foot and ankle or the toe, the athlete can tell you the exact millimeter that it hurts. It hurts right through here to here.
Right.
When it's the low back, it's just kind of, it's here. It's when I do this or when I do that, and there's not really a specific point. So that one usually takes a little bit more kind of work on our end to tease it out and figure out where it's coming from.
So you guys are announcing this now, and when will this be up and running? By this summer?
We've actually started.
Okay.
We started at the beginning of the semester.
Wow. Okay.
So we kind of did a little test run the past couple of weeks, and it's been going great. So we've had athletes coming in and getting help and being seen, and that's the biggest thing for me is just the kind of the peace of mind that it's given me. If Kevin and I are suspecting that it might be something potentially serious, instead of going out and getting seen like a week or two later, we're getting them in like the next day or 2 days from now, and it's pretty quick. You get an answer real quick. The coaches love that. If they've got a game, let's say they got a game on Friday, somebody gets hurt on Wednesday, we get them seen either Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, and then we've got an answer and we can figure out playing status if they're ready to go, instead of potentially missing some time if we're playing it cautiously or if we miss something. But
well, I may be headed to a knee replacement at some point, so I may be seeing you or you at some point. I'm trying to avoid that. My left knee, after 40 years of running outdoors and 10 years of playing full court pickup basketball, has my right knee's fine, but the left one has just gone totally rogue on me. So that's for down the road. Michael, welcome to Schreiner.
Thank you so much. I am honored to be here. It's a special thing to be able to work with just patients in general, but it's a passion of mine to work with athletes, and so I'm very excited to be part of the team. I hope what I bring is going to support not only athletics at Schreiner, but Schreiner University as a whole.
Here's one thing I've discovered when I got into sports. I never feel like I'm working. Do you feel the same way?
Absolutely. I mean, if they paid us by the hour, we wouldn't be sitting here because we would be very rich.
Yeah.
When you work in sports medicine, it's one of those things that you have to have passion for it.
Yeah.
And it drives you because we're up early and we're here late and we're standing out in the cold and the rain and 100 degrees and we're there. And it's our passion that drives us to do this. And it is just one of the funnest jobs to have in the world.
And football's coming.
So we've been told.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be one of the big things that starting this relationship now is going to give us the opportunity to really develop a sound base program here as we move into a football era and have all the groundwork done. And so it's going to be an easy development into supporting the needs for sports medicine within a football team, because it's very different than other sports.
Oh yeah, yeah. And 2026 is what we're shooting for, right?
That's what I've heard.
That's what we hear. All right, Jordan Derrick, athletic trainer here at Schreiner. Michael Shaffer of Peterson Health. Thanks for talking to you, and we'll be seeing you around
Excellent.
campus.
Thank you so much for your time today.
All right, thanks to Matt Comuzzie for putting this together as always. I'm Ted Davis. See you next time on Sit Down with Ted.